All right, here we go. Got another good one for y'all today. It's Easy Funding Real Estate Lines of Credit Part 2, and you're going to like this one. I think main reason is this one's for beginners and anyone in between. Our last video we did was for experts. This one's for beginners. So we're trying to cover the whole gamut here. And this one's not just for beginners, as you'll see. We're going to cover how it works, how you can qualify, and how you can get started right away if you like what you see. All right, so how it works. Essentially, what we're going to tell you here is you want to get pre-qualified for this particular product. And I'll talk about that more in a minute, how you do that and why that's important. You want to find your project once you're pre-qualified, and you can be looking at anything from ground up or rehab in a 1 to 4 unit property or multifamily, which is 5 units and up, like apartment buildings, small apartments, what have you. Once you've done that, then you're going to establish your line amount. And I'll talk about how that works and how much money you can actually qualify for. And then you're going to establish your terms of borrowing so that you know every time you use that line of credit, each time you pull the money off the shelf, you'll know what those terms are going to look like, how much you can pull, all of those things. And one thing to remember with these lines of credit is they're not really true lines of credit like a lot of people think about a line of credit. They are actually just a total amount that you're approved for, sort of like you're pre-approved. And then you go, and the project that you're doing has to get approved as well. So appraisals will be ordered, title will get ordered, and you take that money and you actually go and you close. So it's almost like you're borrowing the money each time. It's just at a predetermined rate and term and an amount, in terms of total. So you can continue to go back to the well each time. So how do you qualify? Well, it's really simple. There's 3 things that they look at. It's credit, experience, and liquidity. And so for the credit and experience piece, I put in this little graphic. This is just one graphic from one lender that we work with, but there's some unique things that they do that I think were pretty interesting. And so I want to just point those out. The way they look at this is based on your experience, pretty much purely your experience to determine which tier you're going to fall into. So they have tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you go over here to completed projects. And this goes back on a 36-month look back. So 36 months or 3 years, how many projects have you completed, or has your name been on in the entity that completed that project? And what's interesting here is they have tier 1 as 0. So somebody with 0 experience can still qualify for a loan under these parameters coming up. So it's pretty cool. If you're a beginner, this is kind of a little bit rare actually. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And so here's the parameters. They will lend up to 77.5% against a purchase price. I don't know where the 0.5% comes from, but whatever, it's what it is. So you can borrow 77.5%, which means you're probably going to have to put down about 22.5% if I'm doing the math correctly, as far as that goes. Loan to cost. So loan to cost, for those of you that don't know, all that simply means is what's the purchase price, and then how much rehab are you looking to put in to the project. So if you're buying it for $100,000 and you think you're going to put in $50,000 of rehab, your total cost is $150,000. Pretty simple. And this is saying they will lend up to 85% of that total cost, loan to cost. Pretty simple. And then ARV simply stands for as repaired value, or finished. I call it finished value. And they, in this case, will lend up to 65% of the finished value. So those are the parameters with which you would qualify, and these would be the parameters if you established a line of credit that would get used every single time you use that line of credit until you advance, and now you have 1 to 4 units or 1 to 4 projects completed. Now you would move into a tier 2. So you can start at one tier and move up the tiers, which is, I think, everyone's goal should be, because if you go all the way down to tier 5, this is somebody very experienced with 24 completed projects over the last 3 years, And by the way, completed projects can be fix and flips, or they can be buy, fix, and holds. So if you're retaining the real estate for rental, as long as you did an exit loan out of the original acquisition loan, there's some ways that you have to kind of work through that. But don't get all hung up on that right now. Just know that once you're pretty experienced here, it gets quite aggressive. They will lend all the way up to 90% of purchase, so only require a 10% down payment. Loan to cost goes all the way to, what's that say, 92.5% or 90, I think it's 92.5%. And finish value, ARV, or loan to finish value is 75%. So again, pretty aggressive as far as that goes. And then over here, if you don't have any experience, the minimum credit score, you got to have really good credit. And the credit actually is just essentially a way to offset the risk of your lack of experience, to put it as plainly as I can. So you do have to have really good credit for this particular program, and you have to have medium credit, I would say 660 or better to qualify if you're very experienced, and you see the numbers in between there. So on that note of credit, it seems to me that this year even we're seeing the credit score requirements go up a little bit. And I think that that's just an assessment of risk from the lenders. So I'm working with several of my clients right now as we speak, helping them overcome some credit issues, increase their credit scores to where they're going to get a better rate or even qualify in some cases. So I'm actually thinking about putting out a video on credit repair potentially, just simple tips that we know that you can do to improve your credit score. I've got some great websites now that will run different score models. We know where we can run mortgage models and all those kinds of things. So if you want to see one of those videos, let me know. Send us a comment, and I'll try to put that together. Okay, so continuing on with how you qualify, the third element there is liquidity. So it's credit, experience, and also liquidity. And in this particular program, I really like it because it's pretty simple. It's 7 times your liquidity. So how do they define liquidity? And you have to always ask these lenders, or sometimes you have to ask the lenders, what do you consider liquidity? What will you look at, or what will you consider as liquidity? In this particular case, they will take cash and cash equivalents. So any retirement accounts, so basically your checking accounts, your savings accounts, and then any retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, etc., anything like that. And you also will take all of the partners. So if there are 2 partners, you'll look at those and you combine them. And let's say that adds up to $1 million. You simply multiply that times 7, and you would qualify for a line of credit of $7 million. That's very simple. I love it. I love simplicity, and so that's how they do this one. All right, so I hope that's been helpful. If you're interested, I say save yourself some time. Send us go down to our link and send us some information, and we can get you pre-qualified in this program. And if not this one, we have lots of others that we can look at. But if you're looking to get started, or you're looking for other options, or whatever it is, go ahead and reach out to us. We will do it for free. We'll get you pre-qualified. Then you can go shopping. Then you can find your project, and you will already know what you're qualified for, what you're pre-qualified for, and it makes that process so much easier, so much faster and cleaner. We're happy to do it. I want to say thanks again for watching. Appreciate all the attention the channel's been getting, and please join, please subscribe, please like us. You know the deal, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much.